In another regression-progression session, John wondered about the ET robots that he had seen in a previous session. None of them had been humanoid. Because he didn't see any reason why that should always be true, he asked about humanoid robots. The ETs transported him into the following scene. John said, "I find myself looking out through the eyes of a massive, 10-foot-tall, humanoid-looking cyborg. It was like being two people at once. I never lose the feeling that I am John from Earth, while at the same time, I am a giant cyborg on an ET ship somewhere far beyond Earth. The cyborg is incredibly strong, highly intelligent, and has basic human-like emotions. In almost every way, it seems human, except that it is massive. Even though the cyborg is mostly an artificial body, my spirit meshes with it and operates it smoothly. Exploring this new body, I reach down and press my huge finger into my forearm. The skin is warm and feels like typical human skin, but I know it isn't. My outer skin and muscles appear made of flexible synthetic materials that look and feel like living flesh. I realize that my cyborg body is not breathing, and in fact, it doesn't have lungs. Instead, there is some fist-sized power source inside my chest that runs my cyborg body. It does have something like a human heart that circulates fluids throughout the body. To my surprise, I realize that my cyborg body has a form of X-ray vision that I can turn on and off mentally. As I turn it on, I see everything inside my forearm. There is some type of artificial circuitry with no visible circuit boards, no silicon chips, and no transistors or electrical wires. Instead, most of the cyborg interior is made of artificial, almost living components that seem to have grown in place like real flesh, nerves, and arteries. Synthetic DNA-like material provided the instructions, and the cyborg body parts simply grew where they were supposed to be. Looking around, I see that I am in a large room maybe 50 feet long, filled with metal tables and lots of what looks like surgical or medical equipment. On one of the tables near me, I see another cyborg that is severely damaged. It doesn't move, but it still seems to be partially conscious. Some accident had violently ripped off one leg and one arm, leaving shredded cyborg muscles, tendons, and blood vessels sticking out. An almost transparent blue-colored fluid is slowly dripping onto the table. A large chunk of cyborg flesh and organs is missing from its midsection. The cyborg part of me understands that something damaged this other cyborg while on some dangerous, off-ship mission. The ET technicians nearby are talking telepathically. They agree that the cyborg is unrepairable, and they decide to recycle it. They plan to kill it. Even though I am not human, I feel a sharp pain of regret, a typically human emotion. I have developed a close personal friendship with the damaged cyborg. It is my friend. As I reflect on what has happened, I blame the ETs for the lethal damage to my friend. They had put my friend in unnecessary danger. I feel intense conflicts. My programming forbids me from harming these beings, but they are trying to kill my friend. But my program allows me to defend myself and my friend. I am required to protect my friend from danger. A powerful wave of anger washes over me, another distinctly human emotion. Then anger turns to rage. I grab one of the massive medical machines and throw it at the two technicians, killing them instantly. I feel a strong sense of satisfaction. The impact rips a huge blood-stained hole through an interior wall of the ship. Still filled with rage, I turn and race through the door toward the front of the ship. Sprinting headlong into the control room, I see that we are approaching a small moon next to a more massive planet. I grab one of the pilots and toss him like a rag doll into the wall, killing him instantly. Determined to teach these heartless creatures not to kill my friends, I lurch forward to grab one of the other technicians sitting at the console. Clutching at him, my powerful hand and fingers pass through him like earth jello, killing him instantly. The momentum carries my hand forward, and it plunges deeply into the control console, damaging the ship's control system. The ship lurches violently sideways, throwing me hard against the wall. My cyborg body is seriously damaged. I lie on the deck paralyzed. In severe pain, and the last view through the cyborg's flickering eyes is of the fatally damaged ship spiraling out of control into the planet's moon. Before it crashes, John bounced out of the session and was back into human consciousness, breathing heavily. After he calmed down, he reviewed the scene. Why had the ETs shown it to him? He thought that maybe it was to expand his concepts of consciousness and emotion. John knew that on Earth, it is common to think of animals as having consciousness, although less advanced than for humans. However, almost no one considers computers and robots to have consciousness, self-awareness, and emotions. Artificial intelligence scientists are hopeful but haven't achieved those yet. In this session, John had looked through the eyes of a clearly conscious, highly intelligent machine with powerful emotions. It is hard to see any fundamental difference between that machine and human beings on Earth. Suddenly, John had a flash of realization. Someday, human spirits will inhabit and operate much more advanced machines than the cyborg in this session. In almost every way, the cyborg he saw was an improvement over our current fragile earthly meat bodies. That cyborg's body could operate under a very wide range of temperatures that would quickly kill a human. It could function without oxygen in space or underwater, could effortlessly lift immensely heavy loads, jump much higher and run faster than any human or animal on Earth, and had a far better memory. Plus, it could feel emotions. John realized that in the future, there is every reason to assume that the human spirit should consider a cyborg body to be a suitable vehicle for exploring the universe. After having looked through the eyes of that cyborg, John could honestly say that he welcomed that.